el exec, el exec. El vele, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser. El chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? How we doing, guys? Sorry, I forgot my mic. That's absolutely hilarious. I forgot to put my mic in front of my face. That's insane. Anyway, welcome to episode 167 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, El Velez, El Exec. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell if you're new. And if you're not new, follow me on all my socials. And, you know, let's get cracking on some conversation and everything. We're in the middle of literal football mayhem right now. 7:30 right now. I might have it pulled up on my phone if it starts before I finish this episode. We have the first leg of the NCAA semifinal. Notre Dame, Penn State, right here in Miami, at Hard Rock Stadium in the Orange Bowl. Listen, I'll be very honest with you. I am leaning Penn State. You guys might say, whoa, leaning Penn State. Well, why are you leaning Penn State? Well, all right. First of all, best tight end in the country, Tyler Warren. He's going to be a top 15 pick, if not top 20 pick in this year's draft. Mel Kiper's number 2 player overall in the draft, Abdul Carter, is a game time decision. Well, game time is in 20 minutes. So nothing has come down yet. That means usually that he'll play. Nothing has come down yet for Abdul Carter. I mean, I got to check Twitter right now, live as we speak, and see what is happening with Abdul Carter. Let's see. Is he playing? Heavily wrapped. Expect him to play tonight, but he may be used more situation. He averages 46 snaps a game. We'll see if he's healthy enough to get near that tonight. All right, so the number 2 player in the draft, according to Mel Kiper, not mine. The number 2 player in the draft for me, I leaning Cam Ward, and then 3 would be between Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders. But we'll get to that, later after the Super Bowl and all that. We'll talk about that, how my combine coverage is and my draft coverage is for you guys that have been here for a minute. So I'm taking Penn State. I like that they're underdogs. I think Drew Adler's a better thrower of the football than Riley Leonard is. I've watched Riley Leonard since Duke. He threw the ball more at Duke than he does here. I like Penn State's weapons better. Omari Adams, Tyler Warren. I love Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, that 1-2 punch in the backfield. Both of these offensive lines are top 10 in the country. Both are top 10 in the country in rushing. This is going to be in the trenches. You got 2 crazy defensive lines. One's hurt, one's semi-hurt. Abdul Carter playing definitely gives the edge to Penn State, in my humble opinion. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be close. But I think Drew Adler in the end has more answers on the passing game and the long third downs that they might get into. That Notre Dame, to me, it's Jordan Faison, and that's kind of it. Not counting, of course, Jeremiah Love and Riley Leonard's running ability. I just feel Penn State is just the more prepared team, weapons-wise, toolbox-wise, just overall. So I'm going to lean Penn State. As for tomorrow's game, tomorrow's game is a doozy, but I think that the outcome of this game is going to really come down to what are you doing about Jeremiah Smith? And on the other side, can Quinn Ewers match Will Howard's accuracy? Can he match the deep ball? Can he hit Golden? Can he hit Moore? Can he hit Mingo? Wingo. Can they use Jaden Blue? Can they run the football against JT, against Sawyer? That's my can they pass the ball on Caleb Downs? Can they run the ball on Caleb Downs? I think that Weiser and Jaden Blue are gonna be just as big as Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins in this game. I'm leaning Ohio State just because it just seems like they really are clicking on all cylinders. And the last time I saw Texas, they almost lost to an Arizona State team that had to come back, and it was just one player essentially to win in overtime. I just leaning OSU. It's in Texas. Yes, it's basically a road game for Ohio State. But just there's nothing you can do with Jeremiah Smith. Makuba's not gonna cover him. He covers kind of like the slot. He plays kind of safety sometimes. Then you have Emeka Ibuka. Then you have Cardell Tate. So you have stuff to worry about if you are Texas. If you're Ohio State, don't get it twisted. You got stuff to worry about. Golden is a number one. Moore is a legit 5-star, freshman, and so is Wingo. But can Ewers match Will Howard's efficiency on offense? And it's going to be between the coaches, Sark versus Ryan versus Day. Whose game plan works? Who's going to outsmart who at those key moments? Your third downs, your third and 5s, your third and 4s, your third and 3s, your third and 1s, your fourth downs, late in the middle 8, going into the halftime, getting out of the halftime. Who's better there? That's going to determine this game. And, of course, turnovers, which Ohio State loves to force them. So does Texas. Really good defenses. Leaning Ohio State. The spread is -6 for Ohio State. So it's basically a touchdown. I don't think it's a lot. I think that it's appropriate. But Texas is the type of team that they can just go nuclear. You know what I'm saying? Like Golden, Wingo, Moore, Jaden Blue, Quintravion Wisner. I believe his name is Quintravion. If it's not Quintravion, just Weiser. Okay. I just believe that they got horses on that side. But coming on the defensive side, I think Ohio State has the best. Even though Barron is the Doak Award winner, the best corner defensive back in college football is on Texas. But I just think that Ohio State just has too much. It just has too much. All right. Super wild card weekend. Yes, I'm still calling it super, just like Pat McAfee does, because they did it last year and it sounded great, and it was because they added 2 more teams. So I think that they should keep it. But let's get it. Chargers, Texans. Essentially, Harbaugh, Herbert, Bosa, Mac, James versus CJ, Nico, Mixon, Daniil, Will Anderson, and Derek Stingley and Alciz Al-Shaair, which they're getting back from suspension. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but let me break it down. Between Herbert and CJ, the only thing that is differentiating factor between them, they're both stars. They're both great quarterbacks. One has been playing better than the other. One, I believe, has better coaching than the other on the offensive side of the ball. Bobby Slowick has kind of had a meh season as an offensive play caller. But there's a lot of injuries. No Stephon Diggs, no Tank Dell. That really affects things. So quarterback-wise, you lean Herbert. Okay? You lean Herbert because he has the Harbaugh. But receiver-wise, yes, you got Ladd McConkey. Johnston is showing some explosiveness. But besides that, you're going to throw to Will Dissly? Is that what you're going to do? Josh Palmer hasn't done anything this year. Is that what you're going to do? Darius Davis. Is that what you're going to do? So, number one wise, Nico. All day. That's an all-pro. If he didn't get hurt, he would have been challenging for the yards and touchdowns title with Jamar Chase. I don't know if he would have beat Jamar Chase for the Triple Crown, but he was the leading receiver in the NFL when he got hurt. And he already had over 1,000 yards, and I had been like 4 or 5 games. So he was going nuts. Stupid. He had like 6 touchdowns in the first 4 games. So, number 1, Nico. When you get to that 2 spot, that's where you put Lad. Because it's going to be basically John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, like Dalton Schultz. There's not a legit number 2 for CJ. Unfortunately. It just isn't. It might be Joe Mixon with the checkdowns and screens and stuff. So number 2, Ladd McConkey. Number 3, Quentin Johnston. Just about what he's shown me. What he's shown me. What he's shown me. What he has shown us the last few weeks is what we expected when they picked him last year out of TCU after having that great year and taking the team to the national championship to get spanked. Just murdered. But besides that, that to me shows that, one, he's not dropping balls as much as he used to. He still has them, but he doesn't drop those big ones. Okay, those big, and he's getting more explosive after the catch. So where am I leaning? To be honest, although it's in Houston, I think the injuries are just too much. The reason why I say that is because I don't think that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are going to get the best. They're going to get some damage. They're going to disrupt, but are going to get the best results going against Joel and Rashawn Slater. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Joel has been absolutely incredible this year, and Rashawn Slater's an all-pro left tackle. So I don't see it happening how the edges will affect Herbert enough for him to possibly be inaccurate or careless with the ball. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because let's say the Texans are like, okay, Ladd McConkey's not going to beat us. We're sticking Derek Stingley on him. We're just number 1 versus number 1. This is what you got. And they try to take him away. The explosive nature of a Quentin Johnston and his body, kind of DK built, big body, Drake London type, exposes your second corner unless you're going to cloud and really leave Derek on an island. You did it against, you've done it all year. I think he's an all-pro corner. That's just me. I think he's an all-pro corner. You did it against Tyreek Hill, and he shut him down. So I'm leaning Chargers. Okay, the spread right now is Chargers getting 3 points on the road. But I don't worry about on the road as much with Jim Harbaugh. So I'm a go Chargers to beat the Texans in a close game. And Dicker the Kicker's kicking better than Kaimi Fairbairn at this moment. So, and I don't know if Kaimi is actually kicking for them. Let me see, because I think he came back the last week. Let me see this real quick. Let's see. I'm going to go all the way down. Kaimi Fairbairn. News. Yep. Yeah, he's healthy. He's ready to go. So, he's 36 for 42. That's respectable, but Dicker the Kicker's kicking better this year. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. Steelers, Ravens. Spread right now, 9.5 for the Ravens. Listen, guys. The Ravens has been the best team this year against teams that have gone in the playoffs, they are a plus 112 point differential. That means they are whooping ass and taking names. Okay? I do not see a world where the Pittsburgh Steelers defense somehow in the second half, the first half could be a wash. This thing could be 3-0 first half. I don't care. When the second half hits and Derek is still getting carries, because I do not think that that Harbaugh is going to make the same mistake twice that he did last year against Kansas City, not running. He didn't have Derrick Henry back then, but, not running Lamar more. And Lamar's pinpoint accuracy, even if he does not have Zay Flowers, I believe in Rashad Bateman. I believe in Mark Andrews. I believe in Derrick Henry running the football. I believe in Isaiah Likely, who would be a big part if Zay is not able to go, which what it's looking like, because he did not practice today. By the way, Jalen Hurts did practice today. Full participant. He's playing. And we'll get to that game later. So starting off with the basis of no Zay Flowers, but now you're going into the game instead of heading with a Gus Edwards or a Keaton Mitchell or a Gus Edwards, honestly, because that's who is, and a Justice Hill, who that's what you walked into the playoffs last year with, because Keaton got hurt and you didn't have a Derrick Henry. I think with Derrick and the defensive and how it's playing with Kyle Hamilton back at his natural safety spot, the star position, covering tight ends, coming down in the box, blitzing, being that basically Tyrann Mathieu, Troy Polamalu, that type of safety. I think that it propels the Ravens to, one, control the ball. Two, if we're talking about running games, these two are miles apart. You're talking about the number one rushing game in the league, or the number two, I think, behind Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, in the league with Derrick and Lamar. And then you're talking about basically non-existent Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren kind of duality with not very good blocking or scheme. Even though Arthur Smith is a good scheme for runners, but he doesn't have a Bijan this year, or a Tyler Algier, to be honest. So already right there, I'm leaning Ravens. I'm picking Ravens. Now, am I taking the points? Because I know you guys care. So I'm going to give you both sides. I'm picking the Ravens to win, and I don't think it's going to be close. But 10 points is a lot. Against your division rival for the third time. They already beat you at your house. You beat them at theirs. But honestly, I just think Lamar's playing too good, man. I think even without Zay, we've seen him without Zay, and he's turned Rashad Bateman into a number one, man. So Mark Andrews is playing great, and I think he's heading into the best part of his year right now, cooking. Isaiah Likely's a weapon. You still have Derrick. You still have Lamar, not only throwing but running. I just think it's too much. I don't think Russell Wilson, after the performance that George Pickens had last week, the defense going to play great, but at some time they're gonna get tired. It's not like TJ Watt is like Max Crosby with the snaps. Like it's not like that. So I'm thinking the Ravens. Yeah, man, I think the Ravens cover, man. I think the Ravens just pull away at the end. I just don't see how the Steelers can keep up without being able to run the football and hoping and praying for a 3rd down and 5 shot, or a 2nd and 10, 1st and 5, like just shot down the field, hoping and praying that they hit 30, 40 yards. Or maybe you'll break a tackle or something with George Pickens. Like, there's just nothing else that they can do. They might throw it to Freiermuth, but that's one guy. And you have Kyle Hamilton to neutralize Freiermuth. So I'm leaning Ravens, man. And I'm leaning Ravens. Like, I think they win big, man. I think that they just show, like, I think they just show their mettle, show what they're coming in with. It's just like a showcase of, like, this is what you're going to deal with the Ravens this year in the playoffs. And I think they're on a mission. They're one of those 5 teams that can really win it this year. Like I said, always, Kansas City, Buffalo, Raven, no particular order, but Kansas City's number 1. Kansas City, Ravens, Buffalo, Eagles, Lions. That's it for me. That's it for me right there. The Vikings right there. Right there. You know, but it's tough, man. But I'm going Ravens all the way. Like, I'm not even. All right, Broncos, Bills on Sunday at 1 in Buffalo. This is going to come down to how actually good is that Denver defense. And Buddy is going to be cold. It's going to be 30 degrees. It's going to be cold. It is in Western New York. It is in Orchard Park. It is going to be cold, buddy. So, is Josh Allen, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, Mac Hollins, and Curtis Samuel, with Ray Davis coming in and out, and the occasional Ty Johnson catch, and Dalton Kincaid maybe appears. Is that, with Deion Dawkins at left tackle, is that enough? Is that enough to hold back Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Surtain, Riley Moss on the back end, PJ Locke? And then what do the offenses do? Broncos haven't been able to run the ball all year. Big problem. Probably their biggest problem. Can't run the ball all year, get in some third down situations where you have to force Nix to really find the ball, find his window. This Bills defense have been playing well, but they have gotten points scored on them. Now, what you have to look at, it's Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Davon Vele. Is that enough without that much of a running game with Javonte Williams or Audric Estime or, whoever you want to put back there? McLaughlin, like whoever you want to put back there. And then a little bit of Bo Nix sprinkled in running. Is that enough to beat the Bills at home? And I just don't think so. Even with Sean Payton. I think it's been a great year, but they're going to get better. They're going to get better receivers. They're still under the Russell Wilson tax. They're still paying like $48 million a year dead cap. Next year's like 42, and then they get away from it. Then it's over. But I think another guy that's on a mission that wants a Super Bowl, thinks that he's going to win an MVP, which I think Lamar is, but thinks he's going to win an MVP. Josh Allen, I do not think that at home he does, as a 2 seed, allows that to happen. I don't see it. And I'm taking the points. I'm taking the minus. It's a -8 line right now. -8. You need a touchdown and a field goal. That Denver defense is really stingy. The thing is, can the Broncos score on them? What we've seen from Marvin Mims the last couple of weeks as a receiver excites me. Okay? But am I willing to stake it on that? On just I've seen a little bit of Marvin Mims and I like what I see. After he hasn't been producing until now. And Cortland has a 1. versus Teron Johnson or whoever they want to put out there, Kyrie Elam, whoever. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills. But Broncos +8. I like that. I like that better. I just think the offense is going to score enough where the defense is not going to be as tired because Sean Payton likes to control the ball. So I'm going to go with the Bills. Packers, Eagles with Jalen Hurts at the bank. Saquon back in the playoffs. A.J. Brown healthy. Devontae Smith healthy. Whole offensive line, best rushing game and offensive line in the NFL. And a D-line who you do not want to mess with. Line is at 4.5. I'm going to tell you the pick, and I'm going to break it down. I'm going Eagles with the points. Now I'm going to tell you why. Packers have no Christian Watson. What does that mean? That means Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, along with Darius Slay, are going to be dividing Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Dontavian Wicks with no Christian Watson. So basically, you don't have a nasty deep threat. You got a deep threat in Jaden Reed, but you don't have a nasty deep threat that can really push Quinyon. Quinyon runs a 4.31, 4.32. So like Quinyon is fast. Like if not, he ran a 4.29, 4.28. And then you have Jalen Carter in the middle, along with Jordan Davis. You have a more sharpened Nolan Smith Jr. And then you got a legit Bryce Huff. Personally, and you got Nakobe Dean. You got CJ GJ. Personally, I just think the Eagles are going to impose their will. Okay? I think that A.J. Brown's going to impose his will. I think that Devontae, I think that Saquon is going to take over this game. And the running game for the Eagles is going to be much more effective than the running game for the Packers. The only thing I worry about the Eagles is Jalen Hurts spooking himself or not playing well. If he does the bare minimum and it is his normal self, Eagles win this game easy. But if there's any lingering effects from the concussion, it might get dicey with turnovers. Okay? And I love Xavier McKinney and Devontae Wyatt. And listen, love all those guys, Jair Alexander. But you're not going to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts, and Saquon against that offensive line. It's not happening with the personnel you got right now. I'm sorry. So I'm going Eagles. I'm going Eagles there with the points for the 4.5. Commanders, Bucks, hardest game to pick. Hardest game to pick. It's either you pick the Phenom, Jaden Daniels, Mr. No Pulse, with a scary Terry on the outside. And then you got De'Ami Brown, Jamison Crowder, Noah Brown. You got some stuff there. Some. Brian Robinson Jr. is good. Offensive line is decent. But then you got to face that Buccaneers running attack. And that defense, can they hold? Can Frankie hold? Can Jonathan Allen hold? Can the back end hold against Mike, against Jalen, who's really been cooking the last 2 weeks? Can they, and Kate Otten, can they hold against Bucky, against Rashad, against Sean? Tristan Wirfs. Can you get off the edge? Can you get sacks? Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite at home in Tampa. Great game for NBC Sunday Night Football. Great game. Baker versus Jaden. On one side, you have a gunslinger who will do anything to win. Anything. Might be reckless. Might throw you one. Has been playing really well this year, though. Is going to dot people. He's going to get it to Mike Evans. You can't do nothing about it. And he's going to do a play where you're going to be like, oh, my God. Can't do nothing about it. He has that type of ability. But he can get in trouble if you constrict the pocket, if you don't allow him to escape the pocket, to move up. He will hit you with bombs. He's not afraid to let that shit go. Really not afraid to let that shit go. He loves to let it fly. And he has the arm to get it there. To Mike, to Jalen, Trey Tucker, whoever he wants to throw it to. Okay? And then Bucky Irving leads the NFL in broken tackles as a rookie. 1,000-yard rusher as a rookie. And basically been building up the whole season to what he is now. It's a monster. Just a monster. That's what you're going to face. So can you tackle? Can you be sound tackling while being okay on the back, not perfect on the back end, but serviceable enough that you can keep Mike and you can keep Jalen McMillan from really popping off, and can you keep Baker constricted in the pocket and don't allow him to get outside the pocket and hurt you with his legs or his arm on the move? For Jaden, plain and simple, can you corral him? That's your first agenda. Can Vita Vea create enough interior pressure where Jaden does not feel comfortable in the pocket? Because if Jaden has a clean pocket, he is dicing you up. Now, let's say, okay, you rush him. But you let him split out of the pocket. You let him step up. Well, one, he has an arm and he's always looking to throw. But two, this guy's legit 4.3 speed. Gets no slouch, and he jukes anybody. Lamar-esque. Smooth, silky, long strider, can shake you, can get up the field in a hurry, can put a spin move on you, can juke you, so that's what you're dealing with there. And if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, whether he's leading or trailing, you got a problem. This guy has no heartbeat. Steady Eddie. Not up, not down. Play after play. One play to the next. That's it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm leaning Commanders. But my professional football brain doesn't want me to fanboy over Jaden Daniels and actually look at the facts of the defensive line and what this defense for Dan Quinn has to do against this Tampa Bay defense. And I'm going to go Buccaneers. It's going to be a close game. It's probably going to be a field goal game. It's -3. I'm going to just go Buccaneers money line. If I had to bet, I'm taking the Commanders with the points. I'm taking Commanders +3 and basically hoping they win because to me it's going to be a close game. So I'm going to go Buccaneers. Okay? And finally, we got Vikings-Rams. We have Hall of Fame quarterback Matthew Stafford, Hall of Fame wide receiver Cooper Kupp, and probably one of his last legs heading into the playoffs because he has been literally slowing down this year considerably. Legit number one target, probably top 5, definitely top 8-ish receiver in the league in Puka Nacua. A top 5 rusher in the league in Kyron Williams, whether it's coming out the backfield or rushing the football. Very good contact balance, will always fall forward. Can hit the big one if he needs to. If he gets a crease, he will take it. Good out the backfield, catching the football. And this young Byron Young, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Akilo Witherspoon, this young back end, young linebacking core, and young D-line that's very talented versus a team with legit two number one receivers, a number one running back later in his years, but very still good and especially out the backfield, a 27-year-old that just got his ass kicked for the division title and wants to get revenge. They're on the road in Los Angeles, possibly going to be played in Arizona because of the wildfires in California. T's and P's to everybody in Cali that are suffering through that. That is not fair to have an arid climate that much and only have just a little spark just destroy tons and tons of property and people's lives. So, thoughts and prayers out there to people in California. So this might be a pseudo home road. I mean, kind of, neutral site if it is in Arizona. And I think the Vikings they're a 1.5 point favorite. I'm going to take the Vikings with the points. I just think that the Vikings, although they're not playoff tested at the Sam Darnold department, I think that they have enough with the Brian Flores defense. You got Dallas Turner, and then that defense, you got Hitman and Byron Murphy, Pro Bowler, and you got people on that defense that they're not really well known, but they play really well in this scheme. Brian Flores is a terrific defensive coordinator, and I just think the Vikings are just going to come with just that type of vengeance from the loss to the Lions. And I think the Rams are just not going to have enough to be able to deal with the Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison onslaught, not to mention TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones Jr., and Jalen Naylor. So I'm going Vikings and the points 1.5. As for the basketball, to finish up real quick, go right here. We had the matchup of the year yesterday. I saw it. Cavaliers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. It just looked like the Cavs, although they were at home, it just looked like the Cavs were just a more mature team. You could really see that the Evan Mobley evolution has really happened. He's way more offensively aggressive, going to the hole, taking his three, shooting at a 42% clip, by the way, as a 7-footer. Still elite defensively, getting blocks, getting offensive rebounds. Jared Allen is a great compliment to him. Not much Darius Garland yesterday, not much Donovan Mitchell until the second half. They were facing a very good Oklahoma City team on a 15-game win streak. The Cavs were on their second 10-game win streak of the season. And the Cavaliers just looked a little bit more mature. Not that this in the finals would be different, but what I saw here, it just looked like just a little bit better shooting, a little bit better defense, just a little bit more better organization when in the critical moments. So to me, the Cavs are the premier team right now, but I love OKC. I love SGA. He's the odds-on favorite for the MVP. I thought he was going to win the MVP this year coming into this year. Yes, I said Ant, but if I had to pick a candidate that when I'm looking at the candidates, it would be SGA because he finished second last year. All he had to do was average 30 this year and be the number one seed. And that's what he's doing. He's second in the league in scoring. So Cleveland is clearly above Boston right now, 5.5. On an 11-game win streak, just ridiculous what they're doing. You have New York jump to 3. They're behind 8. This 1 through 6 is divided by 13 games. This is not changing, guys. The only thing that could change, that I could legitimately see change, is probably Orlando and Milwaukee, 11 and 12.5 back right there, 4 and 5. Maybe Indiana I'd say Indiana all the way to Atlanta in the 9th seed. It's all half a game. They're all 13 and 13.5. And then Chicago's at 10. Philly, I think, is going to get into the play-in once they really get their legs under them. They're 6 and 4 in the last 10. And then after that, it's done. Brooklyn's done. Charlotte's done. Toronto's done. And Washington's garbage. So, but the East is really not going to move that much unless, Paolo's coming back, I think, in the next back-to-back. I think it's tomorrow, maybe today. Paolo's coming back. No Mo, he's gone. Franz is probably a little ways away. They still got Jalen Suggs. If Paolo goes back to what he was doing before he got hurt, which is basically almost being a 27, 28-point game scorer, I could definitely see Orlando jumping the Knicks. But right now, the Knicks are playing really, really well. 7-3 in their last 10. Orlando's 5-5 and, holding. If we go to the Western, OKC still has a 6-game lead on Toronto. Just absolutely disgusting. Houston's playing really well. I like that the way that they're playing. All their young guys. They're playing Cam. You're playing, you're playing your Green, your Sengun, your Thompson. Alsar's playing a lot. I like Tari Eason. He's not playing right now because he's hurt. But once Tari's back in the lineup, I think they're going to stick right there. And then from 2 to 6, it's from 6 to 10 games. That's doable. Memphis is 6.5 back of the number 1 spot, so just half a game behind Houston for that second spot. Denver's 9 games back. I think that they'll find more of their groove. Dallas is at 9.5, could jump Denver for that 4 spot. The Clippers are 10.5, and they got Kawhi back, so we'll see if they make a jump. They could possibly be in the top 6, as the Lakers are 10 back right now. They've lost 2 in a row, though. Minnesota looks like they're finally finding their groove. They're 8th. They're only a half a game back of the 7th seed and only a game back of the 6th seed, so they can maybe make some noise. Golden State's 12 back, so maybe they get their shit together. Maybe they can do something still. San Antonio at 12.5. Wemby's putting in basically all NBA season right now, doing everything, but they've lost 3 in a row. They lost yesterday to the Bucks. Sacramento's 12.5 back right there with San Antonio. Phoenix is 13.5 games back, and then Portland, Utah, and New Orleans, even though they got Zion back, they have no shot of doing anything. But yeah, that's episode 167, guys. I love you guys. God bless you guys. T's and peace to everybody in California. Let's have a great football weekend in college and in the NFL. God bless you guys, and I'll leave you all with the outro.